Hey there, Knicks fans. How you doing? It's your boy, Jonathan Macri, with you for another episode of the Knicks Film School Podcast. I am joined tonight, recording this on Monday evening, by two very close friends of mine. I don't know who I should introduce first, because you're both good friends of mine. Benjy GMAC, hello.
Hello.
And Andrew Claudio, hello.
Hello.
This is great. Great start. Great podcasting, fellas. So full disclosure, this was originally slated to be our inaugural cap or no cap of the offseason. But Jeremy's in the blue concussion tent. He is I don't know what other better sports analogy there is for an injury. Tom Thibodeau played him too many minutes. How about that one? That's probably a more apt one. Never heard that one before, but so he's under the weather. A cap or no cap will be coming your way very soon, but we couldn't do it today. So we had an opportunity to do something else, and this episode was my brainchild, and it is my brainchild, and it spawned from exactly one place, and that place is Benjy GMAC's personal hell. And if you'll allow me to explain, it was, I think, maybe last week, I don't know, at times a flat circle, where Benjy sent out a tweet, and I'm sure you remember the one that I'm thinking of, essentially lamenting how this is not only the worst time of the NBA season, it's like the worst time for anything ever, because it is filled with utter total nonsense in terms of conversation about basketball, but that really has absolutely nothing to do with basketball, because it's people spitballing that they want their team, or in this case the Knicks, to trade for this player or that player, and it just leads to nowhere. Benjy, are you aware of the tweet which I'm referring to?
Well aware. I took some flack. People were like, you're no fun. And I said, you're damn right I'm no fun. I
thought that was my reputation as the no fun guy. I guess you could join me in that. So
honored.
I was like, how can we make this work? How can we have these two sides, the people who love fun and Benjy, join somewhere in the middle? And thus I thought of this idea. So this will be our first annual. We'll see if it's our last annual. Knicks Film School Fantasy Summer Draft. Here's how this is going to work. Because, as I just kind of jokingly referred to, every summer everybody has spends a lot of time and probably wastes a lot of time spitballing all different sorts of players that they would like the Knicks to trade for. I thought, why don't we at least try to give some structure to this nonsense? And so I came up with this idea, as was the recent Hall of Fame episode. This was inspired again by the Big Picture podcast, and specifically the drafts that they do. So we are going to draft individually, three of us, our perfect Knicks summer. There are going to be 5 categories, which I will go through in a moment. And it's going to be a little quirky, but bear with us. And by the end of this thing, we will have each drafted our essentially our fantasy team of Knicks targets, Knicks trade targets, with one exception that I'll get to in a second. The big caveat is we are not dealing with actual trades. We're not, like, if we draft a player for our team that is, in one category or another, we don't have to worry about outgoing salary. We don't have to worry about how to appease the team that we are, taking this player off of. It is just a guy that we would like to see on the Knicks for whatever reason or another. And the hope is that it will spur some conversation about whether any of these guys actually make sense. I'm going to go through the categories, unless Andrew, Benjy, you think I missed anything?
Go right ahead, John. Tell us what we're drafting today. What are the categories?
See, I thought you would I was under the impression that you had a clue as to what was going on. And now I realize that you probably loathe this idea more than Benjy.
Not more than Benjy. there's no way I load the off-season draft that we're about to do more than Benjy. Just a little confused. There's a world where this is the best draft you've ever done. There's a world where this is the worst draft we've ever done. I'm curious to see how that turns out and how good of a podcast it makes.
Well, we're gonna okay, so the structure. Let's go through the categories and hopefully this will make things clear for people. So we are drafting players in 4 categories from other teams, and then there's a 5th category that I'll save for last. In each of each of us has to take one player from each of the following 4 categories to populate our team. The categories are: we are drafting, each of us, one rookie contract player who is making below the mid-level exception. So to be very explicitly clear on this, we are going to use next season's. I already almost screwed up. We're going to use next season's salary. So the mid-level exception next year, I believe, is $12.8 something million. So basically everyone, the top end would be, anyone making less than Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony, I think, is making $12.9 million. So anyone making less than that is eligible to be drafted for this category, but not on a rookie contract. So and if there is a free agent who someone would like to draft on their team, someone who's entering free agency, you can use their salary from last season as long as it is below last season's mid-level exception. Was that clear?
First question. So yeah. The player that we may want to get using this designation, so less than $12.86 million. Yes. So we're not also including how the Knicks got the cap space.
You are not worrying about cap space.
We're just like, I want said player. And obviously that's the free agent question. We're also not saying who the Knicks would trade for to get.
Not worrying about
make less.
Not worrying about any of that. We are keeping it.
This is basically like, if Jeremy's going to come in and worry about all that stuff for us, so before he does, we could just screw all of it and just have some fun.
Got it. But it has to be off of their most recent salary if they're a free agent, or their next salary if they're not a free agent.
Which I just looked up. Last season's full mid-level 12.4. Next season's full mid-level is 12.86. So
and it can't be anybody on a rookie contract.
No, can't be anyone on a rookie contract for.
Got it. We're calling this the Cole Anthony position. This is what you're drafting, the Cole Anthony position.
Except Cole Anthony makes too much money to be drafted in this category, so he's not eligible.
You said Cole Anthony.
I said anyone making less than Cole Anthony will make
this is the,
Cole Anthony.
This is the less than Cole Anthony position. Yes, That's bad. Right. I missed it. Sorry.
That's right. The less than Cole Anthony.
LCA. The LCA. This is the positional designations. This is LCA, Benjy.
Okay.
Yes, LCA, less than Cole Anthony. Great job on that. Number 2 is you could draft a star. So this can be a sign and trade. So if there is a star player coming on the market that you think would be perfect for the Knicks, but that is entering unrestricted free agency or could enter unrestricted free agency, he is eligible. And for as much as we want to have some fun with this exercise, we also wanted it to be, when I say we, of course, I mean me, wanted to be somewhat useful. So, which is to say, there are certain players who are just not going to be on the market at all. I have taken the liberty of excluding the following players who will not be eligible to be drafted that I'm just going to go through very quickly right now. Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, and anyone who was on a rookie contract this past season. So that excludes guys like Tyrese Halliburton, for instance. It would have excluded Anthony Edwards if I didn't already mention him.
Victor Wembanyama.
Like you can't draft Wemby, you can't draft Chet, you can't draft Paolo Banchero. Like these are guys who obviously all of us would love to have as Knicks fans. So the idea is for each of us to draft a star that is at least like their name has been bandied about at one time or another in a rumor or two.
Question. Yes. Do you want to just make it anybody that made an All-NBA team, or is there somebody that made All-NBA this year that you think would be eligible?
It could be,
but that's a cleaner designation other than John said these players.
This category you could draft literally anyone in the league under this designation as long as it's not one of the guys I mentioned.
Right, but all those guys made All NBA. So I'm asking you to make it a clean designation. Do you want to say anybody that made All NBA?
No, I don't think that's necessary because
but we're just going off of John's master list.
No, it's just who you could. This is the category you get to draft your dream player, as well, but not one of the guys that I mentioned. Is that Benji's nodding? I think Benji gets it.
Okay, I get it.
I feel like Benji's the lawyer in Jurassic Park who ends up getting eaten in half. But at the beginning, he's the enemy, and he's like the only one I can trust is the bloodthirsty lawyer. Now here's Benji in my corner,
and I'm Jeff Goldblum poking poking all the holes, chaos theory going on.
That does essentially capture my skills as an attorney. So thank you for that.
I didn't even put two together. You are actually a lawyer. Okay, last 2 categories or 3 categories. Rotation player. So this is it could be someone who's making any amount of money. The only caveat is it has to be like a true rotation guy. So there are 100 different ways we could define a rotation player. I'm choosing the simplest, most basic one, which is that they've averaged under 20 points for 3 consecutive seasons. And I'm adding one. Actually, no, I'll save the caveat for the end. Under 20 points for 3 consecutive seasons. That's category 3. Category 4 is a wild card, which is anyone, again, non-rookie contract guys and anyone who hasn't made an all-star team in the last 3 seasons. So that opens it up to a little bit, more players. And then this is the final one. We're going to draft one Knicks player that is up for either an extension or a brand new contract. So your choices here would be Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, both up for an extension, or OG Anunoby or Isaiah Hartenstein, or I suppose if you want Andrew Claudio, Alec Burks is also eligible for this category, or Precious Achiuwa for that matter.
That was for Benji. I just want clarification.
Okay.
Like
any
who goes
Nick,
where? Yeah.
Any Nick that you can give money to this summer is eligible for this final category. And then the caveat that I was going to mention before, I'll mention now. No players are going to be eligible for this draft that are still playing basketball, which means no Mavericks and no Celtics, because teams that make it to the finals don't tend to want to break up those teams, and neither of these teams have any reason to break up their squads. I think that's it. I don't want to spend any more time on the rules. I want to get to drafting because I feel like this will kind of all work itself out as we move along,
or it won't.
Thanks. Or it won't.
No, well, I'm kidding. Claudio, I'm ready.
Yes. Do you have some method to pick who's drafting first?
Sure. Although I kind of want you to go first because then Benji and I will know what to do afterwards. But Jesus Christ. The deck of cards has been shuffled. Here is John. Here's your card. It is a number 2, a 2 of spades. Benji, here is your card. It is a queen of diamonds. I think that you're about to go play softball. So hopefully you're a queen on the diamond tonight.
Oh, nice.
My card is also a 2 of diamonds. John, I'm going to give you the second pick. Or choice. Yeah, just give you the second pick. I'll go back to second pick.
Are we sneaking?
Yes. Yeah, we're sneaking. So you're gonna draft first, and then you'll be up again on the turn.
All right. I get first pick. That makes things
You do
easy.
get first pick.
All right. Give me
the world is your oyster.
Give me the Jalen Brunson extension now. That's my first pick.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Okay.
Because
yes,
extending Jalen Brunson, as we've all talked about ad nauseum, save this team boatloads of cash going into a time where they're going to need every penny. You lock up the franchise player, the icon, the guy it's all going to be built around. After you excluded that group of stars, he's not that far away from anybody else that you mentioned. So I'd rather take the opportunity to lock this guy up at a discount right off the bat.
It's a bold move only because I don't think Jalen Brunson is a threat to leave. I think if he was a threat to leave, this would be easily the first pick in the draft. That said, the financial implications where there is a difference of, in the first, just talking about a year from now, so that it would be the 25-26 season, we're talking about a difference of well over $10 million. That could be the difference between the Knicks being over the second apron and below the first apron, which we're not going to get into all that today, but that's a big difference. That's a big deal. So I dig it. I dig it. I'm going to, you give me notions. Okay. I'm going to go with the guy who, when I thought of this little funky thing, was the first name that popped into my head as like, okay, this is why I want to do this, because I think it kind of helps us sort out like the value of certain players given their contracts and why one might want to get their hands on said player. So I am in the which category is this? The mid-level or less category. What did you call it? Cole Anthony or less, Andrew?
LCA. Yeah,
LCA. I am taking Alex Caruso.
I knew it.
So Alex Caruso next year will be on a $9.89 million expiring contract. I like this for a few reasons. Number one, he is obviously a very good basketball player. Number two, doesn't eat into the salary cap all that much. And as Benji just said, like salary cap matters. Like we have to start worrying about this stuff. I do think that whoever trades for him, or I guess if he stays in Chicago, will be eligible to, will be able to potentially work out an extension, although it might be tough because you can only give him a 40% raise. But the most important thing, I just think he would fit with this team. Like, I think the more and more we'll go through this exercise, we'll see a lot of players we're going to come upon. We're going to be like, well, would they fit with the culture? Like, who would they play over that's already here? So on and so forth. Alex Caruso would figure out a way to play 25 minutes with this basketball team every night, and he'd help them. So that's who I'm taking with my first pick.
Are you starting him over DiVincenzo when he comes over?
No, I think maybe my hottest take going into next season is that like there are like two players, like again, realistically potentially available players in the entire league who I would start over DiVincenzo.
Woo!
Yeah,
I love that for you. Okay,
you're supportive of my cause.
I am. Listen, I love Dante.
I know.
Redheads unite, as always.
There you go. All right, Andrew, you have two picks.
So years ago, in fact, not even years ago, months ago, Benji, I did my first ever fantasy hockey draft this past season, and it was one of those fantasy drafts, I should say, where I had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, I'll take this guy because I think he might be good. And by the end of it, everybody said, oh, you did a good job, Andrew. Like, great. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm kind of taking the same approach here where I'm just going to say names until John says you can't do it.
Can't draft that player. Okay.
Yeah, that's the direction I'm going here. So my first pick will be in the Knicks player section, and I'll say OG opts in and extends.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That is not, that's such a great job by you. I wasn't even considering that. I was thinking if you took OG in this draft, which I was planning to do with my next pick, it would be under the assumption that he would be getting 35 plus a year. You're having him opt in. Okay.
He opts in and extends. So you would know better than I would what the number is. If he does that, I just know it would save the Knicks money on. Well, I agree with Benji. That would have been my second pick. And John, to be fair, I thought I was going to be able to go OG and Caruso on the turn, but I obviously can't do that. So I will go OG Anunoby opts in. Shout out to the Creative Arts Agency and their table that they may sign the contract on and then take care of him under. But I'll go with OG Anunoby with my first pick.
It's 120 and change, or if it's the full 4-year deal. So yeah,
let's say it's the full 4-year deal. Why not?
Listen,
why
man,
not?
If you're spending the first pick on him, you better get him for 4 years. I like it, man. Again, I was planning to do that with my next pick. So you have another selection here.
So the wild card, it could be anybody that hasn't made an all-star team in the last 3 seasons.
Yes.
Non-rookie contract players.
So already been extended, and doesn't matter if he's on a max, but he can't be. It doesn't matter what his salary is. He just has to be not made an all-star team in the last 3 years.
If I've devised this draft correctly, then yes, we should be safe with this. I can't wait. I think I know who you're going to take.
Give me Mikal Bridges.
That's okay.
Wait.
What?
Has not
he
been
averaged 20.1 game.
That's
It's
for
a
the
wild
rotation
card.
player designation. I'm putting him
God.
as my wild card. You want to know the annoying part?
I looked at him. I'm like, I can't take him.
1.1. Yeah, I just looked him up. So the Knicks trade for Mikal Bridges. I'm going to say in my world, they didn't have to give up Randall, but they traded for Mikal Bridges and he will be in my wild card. And there's my super depth team.
It was the name when I was literally batting around different potential rule adjustments for this draft like 45 minutes before we started recording, and one of the things I thought of was like, maybe we should make all of the non-stat star categories like the player has to make under $20 million. And then I'm like, no, but and then I was like, oh well, that would take Mikal off the table. And then I was like, well, okay, it's a great pick.
Thank you,
Benji. Same question you asked me, I'm going to ask you. The Knicks trade for Mikal Bridges in some world where they don't have to give up Julius Randle or DiVincenzo. You starting him with 2 guard? You have to, right?
Yeah, I think you'd have to because of who he is. I shouldn't say that. You don't have to. I think they would. I just think they would. Okay. He's a guy that's been starting, I think, basically since he came into the league.
That sounds about right.
DiVincenzo has played off the bench and been successful at it,
including last year,
including early this year.
That's what I mean. Like this, yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think that would be the move, but got to see how it goes. DiVincenzo's shooting is extremely important to the Knicks, and his volume is very important. And Mikal cannot provide that same volume or distance shooting. That said, what you can now do defensively on the perimeter between and protecting Jalen Brunson by having OG and Bridges out there is a scary thought. So I would probably go that way, at least see how it went and then pivot if I had to.
I got to tell you, I think this draft is going chalk so far, which maybe I was hoping that the two of you not understanding the assignment would lead to some nice picks falling in my lap. Hasn't really happened, and now I'm looking here, and I'm a little jammed up. Okay, so I am, man.
How did we stump you at your game on the second pick?
It's not a good look at all.
I'm sorry, but man,
no, it's totally fine. Okay, so no, I have two players of mine, and I'm kind of deciding which way I want to go. So part of the reason why I came up with that specific list of exclusionary people, like players not eligible to be taken in the star category, is because if you look up and down the list of like quote unquote star targets, like it really does start to get not thin very quick, because there are obviously exceptional like players who are like we didn't exclude, guys who have won MVPs, guys who are still theoretically like in or at least very close to their primes, and yet there are very, very easy reasons to poke holes in their respective games. Not games, poke holes in like where they are, whether because from an age standpoint, from an injury standpoint, from the standpoint of they intentionally try to hurt players on our basketball team. With all of that in mind, this may be a little controversial. I'm going to use my star pick, and I'm going to take Anthony Davis, who I toyed around with excluding, because I'm like he's almost as instrumental to the fabric of the Lakers at this point as LeBron, probably more so because he's a lot younger. And I didn't, because I'm like, you know what? He makes a ton of money, and he is not a guy. Like, here's the difference between him and like everybody else who made the All-NBA team this year. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. Anthony Davis is not a guy, nor has he ever been a guy who's going to just throw the ball into him back here. Go carry my offense this quarter. That's not what Anthony Davis is. That's never been what he is. It's not what he's going to be. But he's pretty much everything else. And I think if he was on the Knicks, I'm guessing he would be the starting center. I think they would figure out a way to utilize him with some degree of aptitude. So I will go with Anthony Davis.
Had it on my list. I like it. That's why I wanted to know if you were going to clarify and make it the all NBA or nothing. I'm not going to say now I see why, and because you wanted to get Anthony Davis, but
I swear I didn't even him specifically didn't cross my mind.
Okay. Well, you've now opened up not Pandora's box, but whoever, like Pandora's cousin's box, because now I'm curious where everybody else goes with their star trades.
Yeah.
Benji, you have 2 picks.
All right. I'm going to go for my wild card with a man named Desmond Bane.
Wow.
Nailed it. Well done.
That's a man who knows the NBA.
Desmond Bane is, he'd be pretty ideal next to Jalen Brunson. Maybe even one of the few guys, John, that you were talking about that may even be more ideal than Dante DiVincenzo. I would say a bit tougher on the defensive end. Strength and size next to Brunson. Obviously has all the shooting chops that DiVincenzo has. Even though statistically carrying too big a load recently with Memphis, all their injuries and John Morant being out, but the efficiency you would assume would spike playing next to real NBA players again. He is just off of his rookie scale contract. It's $34 million, which nowadays for a guy that's like could probably be like a quasi all-star, close to it, is not a bad contract at all. You have some team control, and that's my wild card. Hasn't made an all-star team.
That's what I was going to ask. What position are you putting him in?
What do you mean, what position?
Well, you could technically make this your star trade.
Oh, I could. Do I have to decide now?
Yes,
because you have to call it now. No, I think wild card is the right way to go. Because I think that's part of what makes this pick so valuable is no all-star team, not on a rookie contract, so it fits in. Yeah, it fits in the wild
I guess
card.
Like you can't be a star if you haven't made an all-star team. If we were writing the rules from fresh, no, come on.
Do we want to add that caveat?
No, I'm not adding any caveats. I'm just saying, okay, Bane is my wild card, and then I am going to do something non-characteristic because
Really?
I am a man who, if nothing else, loves a good jersey cut and paste on Twitter, putting new threads on a guy. I'm also a big fan of the extended conversation about whether a father wants to play with his son.
Oh,
should they draft such son?
You really doing this?
I love me some drama. I love me some off-season banter. And you know what, man? You can give him all the money in the world, but it's probably not. I don't know if he's going to be looking for long-term money. And maybe you can do something short-term in a window that allows you to compete for a championship. And even though the man is 39 years old, soon to be 40, he is performing on an elite level. And depending on where the rest of my team goes, I could play him at the 4 next to OG Anunoby and Desmond Bane and Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. If Julius Randle's not around, because I didn't extend Julius Randle.
No, you didn't.
I'm taking LeBron James.
I wish you would have done it in the voice. Who's the guy who does like the LeBron?
The little
James?
kid? LeBron James?
Yeah, he should.
The little kid from TikTok, yes.
I want to ask you actually though, Benji, is on a serious note, like, do you think plop LeBron at the 4 in place of Randle? You think the Knicks have more championship equity next year?
Yes. Okay. Full stop. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
He's the best. He's the best problem solver to ever play the game. Like the idea that because he's not a great shooter next to that doesn't apply to LeBron James. LeBron James is his own spacing. Like he's the best passer. He sees the floor better than anybody. He doesn't have to carry think about what he has to do for the Lakers now. And he wouldn't have to do for the Knicks. You have Jalen Brunson there, running most of your offense. He could reignite his cutting game. There's space is better. The floor is better space for him in this scenario. I just think rededicate a little bit on the defensive end. We know he still has that in him when he wants to. you plop him onto a roster this good for the next couple of years when he still has a lot in the tank. Yeah, I think it's a great fit. I think he would supercharge the team. Obviously be super motivated. Yeah. So to answer your question, I think the fit is fine. And I think he's just so cerebral and so brilliant. That's my guy. That's not my guy. That's my guy right now. At this moment.
He's your guy today.
I just worked myself up to the point of saying LeBron's my guy. Good Lord.
I didn't even know this. Are you not a LeBron guy?
I am. It's just all the crap that goes along with him.
Yeah, there's a lot of crap.
I'm trying to step out of my curmudgeon self. So right now I'm just hyped. Give me LeBron James and Desmond Bane. My team is cooking.
No, I believe me. I appreciate the energy that you're bringing to this. Okay. Okay. So now I'm up again, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Your third pick.
This is my third pick. So I guess the thing that I'm wondering now, because the way you just said it, like you're adding LeBron James to Desmond Bane and everything, I wasn't even thinking of that all of these moves would be in conjunction with one another. I was more just thinking of like, we're just making moves. Well, no, that wouldn't make any sense because both of you guys are already. Okay, so I just realized I could save my Nick. I could save my Nick thing.
Yes, you could.
Oh, that's interesting.
But you probably want to internally decide what you want to do because it'll impact the way you build out. Maybe.
Yes, that's okay. That's true. Man, it really did thin out here. Okay, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. It's not cheating. Don't laugh at me. It's not cheating, but this guy.
I'm laughing at it thinned out players in. It's what I'm laughing at.
The pool is every NBA player other than
literally
6 guys.
It's not every rotation player that it's any player, any contract that didn't average 20 points a game.
No. Okay.
I'm just saying, my boy Georges is available. I'm just saying.
Who's available?
Georges Niang is available.
Oh, Georges Niang is available. I'm cheating a little bit here because the player that I'm about to draft, he would still be on his rookie contract because he's about to enter his 4th season, but because he was a 2nd round pick, he got signed to an extension before, like earlier. And he's another guy who's making dirt cheap money. And I am going to draft him. I could draft him in wild card or rotation player. I'll draft him in rotation player. I'm going to take Herb Jones.
Herb Jones.
Who the Knicks actually, I was going to curse, but I'm not going to curse. Freaking could have drafted. And it's unfortunate that they did not. They could have drafted. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he taken one pick before Deuce, or was he taken before Rokas and Deuce? I forget which. Because I think they could have ended up with both of those guys, but I'll double check that right now. Herb Jones is really good. He is 35th. So they could have literally taken Herb Jones and Deuce McBride in the same draft. That would have been nice. He's learning how to shoot. 42% on only 3.6 attempts a game last year. But you are getting, he was 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting this year. He was a first-team all-defense player. Is he he's a top 3 wing defender in the league. And as long as he keeps hitting corner threes, like the dude it's like he's a foundational piece to any team he's on playing, guys. They're going to trade Brandon Ingram this summer because they're like, we would just rather play these other 2 guys that we have that play your position, even though you can like do more with the ball. So I'll take Herb Jones.
Let's ask the question. Is he starting?
Man. I'm trying to think how I would remake my team. He'd have to be the starting 2 guard, right?
Or you consider OG the starting 2 guard. Yeah.
Man, I think I would have to make him my 6th man.
I think it's a slightly different question from Mikal, who is, I think, obviously more of a proven shooter with more volume than Herb, even though, as you point out, Herb started making corner threes this year at a pretty good clip. But just a little bit less versatile offensively. And so I worry a little bit about the lack of creation and shooting around Brunson once Herb is inserted for Dante.
You know what's tough about so many of these? Because like, what does everybody want? Everybody wants a big wing who could defend and shoot. When you insert these guys onto the Knicks, if they don't, as you're talking about, if they don't have the level of shooting gravity of a DiVincenzo or someone comparable to DiVincenzo or close to DiVincenzo, well, then it's like, all right, well, is this player worth me, trading Randall for whatever I get for Randall? I guess a center, and then kind of remaking my team a little bit. You're pushing OG down to the 4. You lose some of that physicality. You obviously lose some of the on-ball creation to get more defense, to get more like spacing. Like I guess you're getting more spacing with Herb Jones, but you're also really not. I don't know. It's tough. These are really tough questions, and it speaks to just how good the Knicks roster is. That like any piece you take out, there are really, really difficult considerations that you have to grapple with.
No doubt.
Which is why I wanted to do this exercise, in addition to putting you through hell. Andrew.
So I get 2 picks?
You get 2. Yeah, you get 2. Yeah, you get 2 picks.
Okay. So for my first pick, I'm assuming, let's say in my world, Isaiah Hartenstein just found a new home in Oklahoma City and was like, you know what? Sam Presti, fine. Like, 4 years, 115, you got me. And the Knicks are now without a center. So I'm going to go with my rotation player if the rules allow me, and say the Knicks traded for Domas Sabonis from the Sacramento Kings, who has not averaged 20 points a game in either of the last 3 seasons. Does that count, John? Am I allowed to do this?
Did I not say... I'm assuming that I didn't say a rotation player couldn't make an all-star team.
You didn't.
I didn't.
I'm staring at the rules now. Any salary.
Staring at the rules. You
must have averaged under 20 points
rules
for 3 consecutive
He averaged 19.4, a career high. And he averaged 20 in 2020, 2021. Wow, just skirted this, man.
4 years ago. So I'm able to put him as my center and kind of upgrade my Hartenstein to Sabonis.
You know what?
Damn,
on the offensive end.
Yeah, good luck.
You could have the gentleman who
I have an Anunoby.
What? Yeah.
I have an Anunoby. I have a Bridges, and wait for what I do next.
And no, but listen, I was going to say you could have the gentleman who was voted all defense by one brave voter out there.
Thank you. Yes,
that's right. I look forward to Tibbs benching him in game 74 because of his lack of rim protection.
Fair.
74. How about game 7?
Well, I mean, we'll see what center's available if that happens.
Seriously, that's an outstanding pick.
He'll be my rotation player. And then, because like you said, Benji, I'm at a lack of rim protection. So I'm just going to decide we'll guard you so intensely before you ever even think about getting to the rim that my perimeter defense will be such a stone wall because my star trade will be for Paul George.
That was who I was thinking of. I was thinking about it.
Yes. So I now have Anunoby, Bridges, and Paul George on my team next to Sabonis and Jalen Brunson with Dante and Hart and Deuce coming off the bench. Don't ask me how we're getting all these players. I just follow the rules. Follow the rules.
Can you ask me how if the chances of Paul George playing in game 1 of the playoffs for the Knicks?
Isn't the same question about Anunoby?
Yes.
Like Anthony Davis is also that question.
Yes, it is. Sabonis will be benched and Paul George will be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you know? Josh Hart's playing 44 minutes a night again.
There you go. Welcome back to hell, Josh Hart.
I think the Paul George conversation is a really interesting one because we don't have to go over it again. We've talked about Paul George a lot and how he is the theoretical perfect star to play between Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, right? And he could play the two. He's played the two, but he is old. He is injury prone. And he makes a shit ton of money, and he's about to make a lot more money because he apparently wants a max contract or something close to it. Benji, would you want the Knicks to get in the Paul George business? let's say it doesn't cost you Randall, which is really tough to do under the cap and make it work.
I don't see that. But
it's not impossible. I'll just say that.
If it's not Randall, it's going to be more picks.
Probably.
Man, am I in the Paul George business?
Man, you're really.
Yeah, I'd have to see the deal. My instinct is to say no.
Okay.
He's old and he's injury prone, and the chances of him and I joked about it just now, but really the chances of him making a playoff impact at this point are basically 50-50, if not worse odds.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he's a theoretically perfect fit. He's only getting older though. He's only getting older, and the injury history is what it is. But he is theoretically a great fit anywhere. Certainly on this Knicks team with his shooting and defense and all that. I just worry about the health, and I worry about the age. The reason I think about it is because I do think sometimes we overestimate the windows that any team has, but including this one.
Sure.
Financially, age-wise, it doesn't last forever. We're not OKC. We don't have, not everyone's 23 years old and on rookie deals, and extensions are coming and the aprons are there. The idea of going all in this offseason or next is not crazy to me. Because of that, I just worry about him and his age. So yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. All right. I think it's a perfect summation of the Paul George question. Okay, Andrew, you have another pick, right? Or no, you did Sabonis and Paul George.
I'm done. I have one more pick to make that I'll make when it comes back around to me.
Okay. So that means I am up. So correct. Just double check. I took Herb Jones in rotation player, right? So I have wild card. All right. So there's a thing that I could do.
You could also take your Knick player now if you want.
I'm not going to.
We're both. Okay. Never mind.
Because I don't need to. You guys have both done that already. So I don't need to.
We've also done wild card.
Yes. I'm going to take my wild card player here. And, so in the spirit of what Benjy did, there's a player I'm leaving on the board who I'm pretty sure you guys. Well, I don't want to say anything else. I'm going to leave him on the board because it doesn't make sense for the Knicks. I'm going to take Devin Vassell because Devin Vassell also was on like Desmond Bane was on a rookie contract last year. So if you took Desmond Bane as your wild card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to take Devin Vassell as my wild card because his rookie extension isn't kicking in until this year. Makes a lot of money, obviously. I think still has more to prove as an NBA player. But in for a penny, in for a pound with my wings here. So yeah, just try to collect as many of these guys as you can. So Devin Vassell for me, really good player.
All right, Devin Vassell is a really good player.
Yeah,
I agree. So what do I have? I just have non-rookie and rotation left, and I'm picking them both now.
You have mid-level or less and rotation player. Yes, those are the
LCA
and rotation player. Okay.
Lower than goal.
For my LCA.
Yes.
I'm taking the man who tortured us to no end. I'm taking the man.
I didn't know if I was able to get him on the back, but
that's fantastic.
Hasn't missed a mid-range shot playing the Knicks since 2014.
Yeah.
We need playmaking on the second unit. We need an injection of pace. We need toughness to fit the team's general ethos. You heard TJ McConnell talk about the Knicks and press conferences after he played them. He feels almost he has reverence for the way the Knicks play and the way they're run. It's a great fit. So give me at like $9 million. Well, he's a free agent, right? So I don't know what he's going to. He may have earned himself. He actually may have earned himself more than this, but I don't think so. I feel like he'll end up around that mid-level exception, don't you, TJ?
Wait, TJ McConnell?
Yeah.
He's not a free agent. He's under contract for $9.3 million.
Oh, he is. Well, that's a bargain. So let's get him. He's my mid-level exception, below mid-level exception guy.
It's funny. I was right. I forget what off-season newsletter I was writing last year, but I was like going through I was leaving those stone unturned in terms of players that like the Knicks could maybe trade for, or this or that. And I like came upon TJ McConnell. I wrote something about him, and the whole time I'm like, the Knicks aren't going to trade for TJ McConnell. And people are going to read this and be like, why the fuck do you want TJ McConnell? I've always loved TJ McConnell, and I'm glad you drafted him because he's really good.
Did we lose Andrew?
Oh, I think we did lose.
I'm here. My camera's not working, so I'm going to figure that out while you guys keep drafting.
Hi, Andrew. All right, and then my final pick for my rotation player, which is a rotation player of any salary, but he's averaged under 20 points for 3 consecutive seasons.
That is correct.
I am going for a proven winner, considering he'll likely be coming off of my bench. It's quite a fit. Can play the 4, can play backup 5 to get really versatile. I'm going with Aaron Gordon.
I was wondering if someone was going to take him.
I'm going with Aaron Gordon.
Hold on. Andrew, I want to see what category Andrew has left. Andrew has...
I have my LCA. That's it. I was hoping TJ McConnell would make it back to me, but
So that means Jamal Murray is not going to get drafted. I could have taken Murray in the Vassell spot. He could have been taken a couple other times. I guess because he doesn't make sense on the same team as Brunson.
So he would have been under.
He would have been wild card. He would have been. Yeah, he would have been.
Oh, he hasn't made an all-star. Right, he's one of the best players that hasn't made. If not the best player that hasn't made an all-star team. Yeah, it's not not that it couldn't work. It would be pretty potent. I mean,
offensively, yeah, sure.
Yeah, offensively for sure. Wouldn't begrudge someone who took Jamal Murray.
I'm happy Gordon got drafted because
honestly didn't think of him when I made this Gordon pick, and now if I'm thinking about picking between the two, I'd probably still go with Gordon. So I'm going to feel okay about it because I already have Bane. Also, I have DiVincenzo on the team locked up. Gordon gives me such versatility off the bench because he really could play anywhere from 3 to 5. If you have enough shooting out there, he can probably play the 3. He can guard anybody. He gives you defensive versatility. He might close you some games. Gives you another option, especially like. Sometimes I think we struggled with the idea of playing small, but Gordon is probably one that Tibbs could swallow as like, I can play him at the small ball 5 and he does enough. He's athletic enough and he's shown it he's shown it like on really high leverage stages. So yeah, I'll stick with Gordon.
When you're looking at like non quote unquote star players, I mean, Gordon's not a star player. He's I think we know what he is now. You know, it's like, you're not going to find many better guys, especially at his price point, but he's another guy who's going to get more expensive for Denver at some point, but that's their issue. Okay. Is it me now?
Yes. You're Nick.
Okay. So I'm choosing between, do I want iHeart on a new contract or do I want Julius on a nice, a team friendly extension? It's interesting because I took Anthony Davis. So like Anthony Davis, theoretically could be he's a little versatile. Give me the Julius extension. Never thought in a million years that Isaiah Hartenstein's new contract would not be one of the 3 that was taken. But I think for as, imperfect as Julius may be, if you can give him to me on a nice team friendly number, I will. I'm fine with that. And I just realized I wore my Julius Caesar t-shirt, so it's fitting that my last pick on the draft is Julius Randle. I don't know what that number would be, though.
I guess if we did, all of us didn't pick Hartenstein. I guess Andrew picked her. You picked.
I took the OG option.
Yeah, so if you don't pick Hartenstein, the assumption is he's gone. Like as opposed to the other guys where you could get them at more expensive numbers. Hartenstein, if you didn't pick him, is gone, which means that right now, my starting center is actually Mitchell Robinson, which I didn't fully think about as I was doing this, which is okay. He's a proven good starting center. But one name that I'll let Andrew pick and then we can talk about it.
Well, hold on. Before you let Andrew pick, very, very briefly, if what do you think is more important in a vacuum, which I understand is a unfair proffer here, But in a vacuum, what do you think is more important for the Knicks, to get Isaiah Hartenstein back as opposed to him walking for next season, or to get Julius Randle on, let's say, a fairly team-friendly extension?
Yeah, well, unless they trade Randle before that, I would. It has to be Randle. I think it has to be Randle, because that's such a big salary slot, and whether it's for now or for later, you now have it locked up at a good number. And obviously, like, Hartenstein is awesome, and he complements Jalen Brunson beautifully. But I think it's easier to replace that than Julius, and maybe build around the team differently, so it's not as important. Hartenstein's skill set isn't quite as important than it is if you just like lost Julius. Or you had to pay Julius a crazy amount of money. Like, I don't know. I feel like that has more long-term downsides.
I think it's an interesting conversation, but
it is. Tough question.
Andrew, last pick.
So, clarification question.
Sure.
There we go.
I know this is the LCA, the less than Cole Anthony, but we're not doing specifically less than Cole Anthony, right? It's less than 12 point what? Again, 12.86?
If it's a guy who's under contract next season, it's under $12.86 million. That's not on a rookie contract.
And there's no, like, can't have made an all-star team, has less than 20 points a game. It's like anybody under that number, right?
You're taking Russell Westbrook? What are you doing?
No. I'm asking a question, Benji.
Unless I've missed...
This guy's like Better Call Saul over here.
Unless I've missed somebody... I mean, I think you're good to take whoever. Yeah.
All right, give me Kobe White. Runner up for Absolutely. Most improved player. He'll be off my bench.
I thought I was nervous there for a second. Kobe White, fine, have fun. I don't know what was going to happen.
Benji, how many wings do I have? I'm okay getting some scoring punches.
No, honestly,
Alec Burks.
Right. That's your ball handling. That's your ball handling off the bench. No, that's good. It's a good.
Hold on, though.
I'm kidding with you.
But like again. As someone who's spent a lot of more time than I should, thinking about potential moves that they're just going to make this offseason, how vital is it that if they get a backup ball handler, a backup guard who's a really potent offensive player, like let's say it's a really Kobe White's awesome on offense. How important is it that player could defend?
Not.
Benji, you
well, it's a question of playing time. If he can't defend, he's probably not playing more than 12 minutes a game.
That's why I asked the question.
And the key word in your question was backup, right? And Tibbs backups, if they don't defend, usually play 10, 15 minutes, which is fine.
No, it's not. It's nonetheless. And look, I think probably they would play some time together. So you could probably finagle, a few minutes against second units where they do play together, and you can get them up to 15, 16, and then you're okay. But it's a fair point. And by the way, I don't know how much TJ and JB would play together either, although Halliburton and McConnell played together and played quite well. Yeah. Different kind of team.
Yeah.
So that's, but that said, TJ McConnell, as opposed to White, is a guy that I could put him out for 10, 12 minutes a night, and he'll make the maximum impact in 10, 12 minutes a night that you can make. Kobe White might need more time to kind of do his thing, but I don't know. Interesting.
I was worried.
I look at Austin Reeves too, but he makes too much money.
You don't want.
If you want to talk about Austin Reeves, we could talk about bend the rule for you to take Austin Reeves. If you want Austin Reeves,
I'm looking for a volume scorer as my ninth man because I have Paul George, and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges on my team.
He's going to be your sixth man soon enough.
As soon as the injuries pile up, yes. But thankfully, Kobe White has some time playing basketball for a 500 team, which is what the Knicks will be if he's playing starting 2-guard minutes.
I just want to say that it's very interesting to me. I think we milked. So put the Knicks category aside. All the three non-star categories. I think the three of us milked those categories for all they're worth. I think we did really good work in getting the most that we could out of those. The only other player who I saw that maybe one of us would have considered is Terrence Mann, in the spirit of a guy who doesn't make a lot of money and he's pays 11 point something. But Terrence Mann's fine. But I think we got all those guys. It is very interesting to me that I'm just going to read off some names that could have been drafted in the star category that weren't. Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant. What's that?
I said fuck him when you
Okay.
said Joel Embiid.
That's fine. Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns. I'll say his name. Damian Lillard. Am I forgetting?
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert, Trae Young. But now we're getting into it's not as ridiculous. Zion Williamson.
Well, listen, whatever. Rudy would do quite well at center for the Knicks. I'll just say that. Now it's a lot of money, but he would do quite well.
Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo. Someone could have taken Bam Adebayo.
I thought about Bam. I thought about Bam.
Okay.
If by the way, if Bam didn't average like 20.1 points per game this year, I was thinking about him for my rotation spot.
Jokes aside, same thought, Benji.
Yeah. And the other guy, sorry, Andrew, you're done, right? We're done.
Yeah, I'm done. My only name I wanted to mention is that I was thinking of Markkanen for
I thought of Markkanen.
Rotation player. So that would have been a steal.
No, for the wild.
No, he made an all-star team.
That's not part of the rotation player thing, I thought. Because I said
he's average 20.
Yeah, he's average.
Oh, 20. My bad. For wild card. You're right.
No, but he made an all-star team.
No, but he made it. You could not have gotten Lauri Markkanen.
Markkanen was ineligible.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Lauri Markkanen.
You could have had him as your star pick.
Yeah, which would have been absolutely insane.
Absolutely, No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Just quite good.
Benji, what were you going to say?
Yeah, the only name, because now that I kind of appreciate that I didn't replace Hartenstein and I presumably am losing him, I would have thought about Miles Turner as the rotation player.
Oh, interesting. That's another good one.
Oh no, he might have averaged 20 this year.
Miles Turner did not average 20 points. Hold on, I'll look it up right now.
I think he might have, guys.
In the spirit of centers, I thought about Jonathan Isaac, but that would
I thought about him too.
That would fit in my not playing in the end of the season or enough games designation too.
Miles Turner topped out at 18 points last season. This season, he only averaged 17.1.
I thought he averaged 20 last year. Okay, so that might have been a name. Maybe I take him instead of Gordon to kind of fill my starting center spot. I can now stretch the floor, which is really interesting around Brunson. I think Tibbs could bring out his best defense again, which maybe has lapsed a little bit, but he's certainly a capable rim protector when he's locked in on that end. Interesting center. There's a reason the Knicks have been interested in him in the past, right? I mean, he's an interesting player that maybe I would have considered. That's it.
I gotta say, I don't know about you guys. This draft, it accomplished what I hoped it would accomplish, which is to again generate some conversation about how, much to the chagrin of folks who like to spend their time on Twitter spitballing one name after another, it's hard to find actual available guys who fit the roster and who make sense when you consider the practical aspects of team building, which is that you don't have unlimited funds and you can't just have a bunch of stars and it's hard. And the Knicks have a really good team and figuring out which pieces work on this team and which pieces don't work on this team, which we'll get into in cap or no cap over the coming weeks. It's a challenge. That's all I had to say. Oh, we should read our teams.
Yes, quickly, because Benji has to run.
I know. So. You read your team first. You had the first pick.
Oh, yeah. Read my team. Sure, because I have it all in front of me.
It's in the Google Doc that's in the chat.
Do you have the Google Doc?
Haven't looked at that.
Okay, glad I've been filling it out whole time.
we'll go reverse order. Andrew, you read your team first.
My first team, my LCA, my less than Cole Anthony, is a Kobe White trade. My star, not on John's list, is a Paul George trade. My rotation player is a Domantas Sabonis trade. My Nick extension or free agent re-signing, OG Anunoby opts in and extends. And my wild card is a Mikal Bridges trade.
That's a nice roster of players. Okay. My mid-level guy is Alex Caruso. My star is Anthony Davis. My rotation player is Herb Jones. My Nick move is a Julius Randle extension. And my wild card is Devin Vassell trade.
My non-rookie contract player making below the mid-level exception is TJ McConnell. My rotation player is Aaron Gordon. My realistic star is the great LeBron James. My Knicks extension is Jalen Brunson, the King, at a reasonable number. And my wild card is the prolific Desmond Bain.
Picky in the brain. I gotta tell you, I love your team. I love your team, Benji. Jalen Brunson, TJ McConnell, Des Bain, Aaron Gordon, LeBron James. Small, but they would that dog was
small. What's small about that? We're huge.
Sure you are.
I love this exercise, baby. This was fun. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you seriously for indulging me. Benji, you have to go play baseball. Anything for you before we get out of here?
Nope. It's the off season, baby. What can I say? Talk to you guys later.
Adios. Andrew, Claudio, anything from you?
No, wait. I should probably disappear Benji from the screen. No, just the only player that was on my list that we didn't draft was Kevin Durant, or say was Kevin Durant. If it came to it, I would have thought about him for the star trade. But yeah, look forward to Jeremy and his expertise taking over in the not too distant future.
Woj drops a bomb tomorrow that Kevin Durant has grown disillusioned with the Phoenix Suns after only 1.5 seasons, I guess, actually. And he is seeking a trade, and the only team that he wants to be traded to is the New York Knicks. Your reaction is what? I've
always loved Kevin Durant. I've always believed in him.
Is that genuine?
Not really. I
actually
at a certain thing. Look, I know that they're gonna. He's really good. Their window is now. My reaction is indifference because like if they did it, I'd learn to love it. If they didn't do it, I'd be like, yeah, I think this team is pretty good as is, and without giving up the boatload it would take to get him.
I would talk myself into it. It's Kevin Durant. He's awesome, but I got to tell you. I just as soon move on.
It's indifference. It's just like there aren't very many guys that I actually am opining for them to. They have to do this. It's really they're internal. Like they have to re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein. They have to re-sign OG Anunoby. Everything else is quite literally a cherry on top.
That's kind of why I'm a little proud of myself for the Anthony Davis pick. Like the reality is if you want Randall back, and I've said it already or at least I wrote it. I'm pretty sure I said it on the pod that like, unless you're getting Giannis, I don't know that there's a player out there who I want to like exchange Randall for to play the 4 for this team. And I'm not sure I want to remake the team to move everybody down a spot and have OG play the 4 and whoever else play the 3. So if you're not taking Randall off the team and you feel pretty passionately that like DiVincenzo just really works as the starting 2 guard, which I'm happy we had that conversation a little bit today, then like the only position that's left to upgrade is center. And, you know, we all hate Joel Embiid now. He's awesome. I mean, I'm sure if he
with the right whistle, he's awesome. Yes.
Yes. With the rules the way they are and with how the game is officiated, he is awesome. Hate him, but he's awesome. And we do hate him. But like, I mean, how enthusiastically would Knicks fans welcome him at this point? I would have a tough time with it, frankly, after how that series went. So it's like, all right, you look through the league and other centers, you're like, who's a center that's really going to make the team better and who might become available in the next few years? You know, that's why you could do worse than Anthony Davis. So.
I am now emotionally invested in Joel Embiid losing. That is not a future I can welcome anymore. I'm hoping the Knicks feel the same way. And to your point, like there's all the moves I really want the Knicks to make are internal. If they ran it back, I'd be fine. I know your newsletter's made a great case. A lot of people have made a great case lately, but you've really deep dove how difficult the star trade would be next summer if they approach or even pass the second apron. But you know, hopefully they stay below it, which is why I hope Brock Aller can work his magic.
Second apron, it's damn near impossible. First apron, you can do it. It's just it takes you got to jump through some hoops.
No, I'm saying like that they stay below it. That's not damn near impossible.
It is.
The first one is damn near impossible. The second one is not, right?
Yes. No. Yeah. Exactly. It is not going to be impossible for them to stay below the second apron, depending on what they do this summer. But again, if they do something this summer that would make it such that their fate is very likely to go over the second apron at some point, they will feel comfortable that whatever they did this summer to put them in that position they're comfortable with, like, this is our team. We're comfortable with the fact that we are going to be hamstrung in terms of moves that we can make or not make. So,
yep.
We'll get into all that with Jeremy very soon when he feels better and is up for the inaugural cap or no cap. Man, draft is freaking 3 weeks from
Wednesday.
Thursday. 3 weeks
Wednesday.
Yes, that's right. Night 1 Wednesday, and then how we go live for Thursday afternoon draft.
We will be live for both days of the NBA draft.
They have a pick.
They have 2, John. I'm telling
you the second round.
Oh, in the second round, yes.
Yeah,
well,
the second
if I heard right, day 1's just the lottery.
Oh, then I misread the tweet.
I may be wrong. I'll be wrong on that. I'll be honest.
No,
I've left all draft things to Chris. I'm going to make an announcement while you do that. Draft rules, everything around me. Dream will be live on our YouTube channel and all places we go live on Tuesday night. So join Chris and producer Kevin on Tuesday night. They'll answer all your draft questions, all your draft inquiries, who they might draft, where they might trade, could they move up, prospects they like. Really good episode from Drafts Class over the weekend, the season 3 debut with Bryce Simon, who's one half. He's been on the pod for pregame pods before because he co-hosts the Pistons Pulse. So when the Knicks have played the Pistons, I've had him on, but he also is one half of Game Theory with Sam Vecini. So check that out if you haven't. And then Chris will be taking you away on Tuesday night if you want to join us live on all platforms. And just one quick announcement. Happy birthday to my better half. My wife's birthday is when you're listening to this today. So love you, babe. And thank you for everything.
Happy birthday, Ro. And not crazy. The entire first round is on Wednesday.
That's stupid. Who's watching day 2?
We will be watching it because we will be live on here for.
I appreciate anybody that will tune into both the draft and our watch party because that is dedication to watching the draft the second day.
Listen, Jalen Brunson was drafted in the second round, my friend.
And you thought Frank Ntilikina was better in a very famous tweet. I like this Brunson kid, but his ceiling is nowhere near higher than Frank. I'm sorry to bring that up, but that's the reality of the second round. Nikola Jokic was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial, John.
Not even one of my 10 worst things. If somebody wants to compile that list, I'd love to see it. Okay, we got to get out of here. Yeah. Andrew, thank you for indulging me. Was this fun?
Yeah, I had fun. Once I figured out the rules, I had fun.
You knew the rules clearly from the outset because you made great picks. I've
watched hockey before, but it wasn't until I actually drafted in a fantasy draft that I was like, oh, I know how to do this. So I wrote down a list and was like, I think these are the rules. And it worked out.
Yes. No, you did very well. Okay. I got to go put a child to bed. This was fun. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with more fun and games before you know it. Peace out.